Imagine waking up in the middle of a freezing winter night, surrounded by darkness and snow. You are trapped inside a tent on a remote mountain, hundreds of miles away from civilization. Suddenly, something makes you so terrified that you grab a knife, cut your way out of the tent from the inside, and run into the freezing wilderness. You have no proper shoes. You have almost no warm clothing. And you never come back. This is not the opening scene of a horror movie. It is what investigators discovered in one of the most mysterious tragedies in modern history. This is the story of the Dyatlov Pass incident. In January 1959, a group of 10 experienced hikers from the Soviet Union began an expedition into the Ural Mountains. The group was led by a 23-year-old engineering student named Igor Dyatlov. These were not inexperienced tourists. They were skilled hikers, familiar with harsh winter conditions, and prepared for a difficult journey. Their destination was the northern Ural Mountains, an extremely cold and isolated region covered in deep snow. The group originally had 10 members, but one of them, Yuri Yudin, became sick and decided to return home before the most dangerous part of the journey. That decision would save his life. The remaining 9 hikers continued into the mountains. They were expected to return in early February, but they never did. When the group failed to return on schedule, their families became worried. Search teams were eventually sent into the mountains. And on February 26th, rescuers discovered something disturbing. The hiker's tent was found on the slope of a mountain called Kolit, which means Mountain of the Dead. But the tent was not where investigators expected it to be. It had been cut open from the inside. Inside the tent, rescuers found the hikers' boots, clothing, food, and other equipment. Almost everything they needed to survive was still there. But the 9 hikers were gone. Why would experienced mountaineers leave their shelter in the middle of the night during a deadly snowstorm? And why would they leave behind their shoes and warm clothing? The search continued. Several bodies were discovered near a forest about a mile away from the tent. Some appeared to have died from hypothermia, but others had serious injuries. 2 hikers had major chest fractures. Another had a severe skull injury. One victim was missing part of her tongue and some facial tissue, which later fueled countless rumors about what had happened. At first, investigators struggled to find a logical explanation. There were no obvious signs of another group attacking them. There were no clear footprints suggesting a large group had chased them. And most importantly, there was no obvious reason why 9 experienced hikers would suddenly abandon a perfectly good tent. The Soviet investigation eventually concluded that the hikers had died because of an unknown compelling force. That vague explanation only made the mystery more famous. Over the decades, dozens of theories appeared. Some people believed the hikers encountered a military experiment. Others suggested they witnessed something they were never supposed to see. Some even claimed that mysterious lights were seen in the sky around the same time, leading to theories about UFOs. But there were also much more realistic explanations. One theory involves an avalanche. According to this idea, snow may have shifted above the tent, creating a terrifying situation. The hikers may have believed a larger avalanche was about to happen. They could have cut their way out of the tent and moved downhill toward the forest to escape. But if an avalanche was the cause, why wasn't the tent completely buried? And why did some of the victims suffer such severe injuries? Another theory involves something called a katabatic wind. In mountainous regions, powerful masses of cold air can suddenly rush down slopes. Such winds can become extremely dangerous and may cause panic, especially at night. The hikers might have feared that their tent was in danger and decided to move toward the forest. But in the darkness and freezing temperatures, they may have become disoriented. One by one, they could have succumbed to the cold. The strange injuries could potentially have resulted from falling rocks, snow pressure, or accidents in the difficult terrain. In recent years, researchers have also revisited the avalanche theory using modern scientific models. Some studies suggested that a smaller delayed avalanche could have occurred after the hikers had dug into the snow to set up their tent. This could explain some of the injuries and the decision to escape quickly. But even this explanation does not answer every question. And that's exactly why the Dyatlov Pass incident remains so fascinating. There is another heartbreaking detail. One of the hikers, Yuri Yudin, was the only member of the original expedition to survive. Years later, he reportedly said that leaving the group was the hardest decision of his life. He kept wondering what had happened to his friends. He even kept their belongings as reminders of the people who never returned. Today, the Dyatlov Pass incident remains one of the world's most famous unsolved mysteries. Was it an avalanche? A sudden mountain wind? A tragic chain of mistakes? Or was there something else that night that we still don't understand? We may never know the complete truth. The mountains have kept their secret for more than 6 decades. And perhaps the most frightening part of the story is not what we know, but what we don't. Because somewhere beneath the snow of the Ural Mountains, the final moments of 9 hikers remain one of history's greatest mysteries. What do you think happened at Dyatlov Pass? If you enjoy mysterious historical stories like this, subscribe to Rayazora History for more.